better one.
All right, now let's see if I do cancel out of that, and then that looks like there's a new stream running. We'll see if I can bring it up. I think I'm showing 21 seconds at this point. 21 seconds at this point. Yeah, I've got audio there, and I see a bunch of people in the chat room. And so I just confirmed the audio is coming through. So I'll bring the chat back up. Bobby, Brian, CFW, Wintermute, V, Tony, Martin, Bobby, Ran, Israel, Carl. Yeah. So did you see the URL that I posted in the prior chat? Or did you just find it by virtue of a notification coming through?
I get notification.
Yours and Ken's live streams always pop up on as like the first video on my YouTube homepage.
All right, but that didn't answer the question that I really do want to get an answer to.
No,
is,
I didn't get a notification.
That's not my question. Let me ask my question, please.
I get notification.
Did you see the URL in the old chat room, or anybody
No,
in?
because I closed it.
Okay. Now, Dennis says he did see the URL in the old chat, so he didn't close it. So I did get that URL in time so that anybody that was still in there could have clicked on it. And notification, saw the Wintermute saw the URL. So, yeah. So, depending upon whether you still had that open or not. You did or did not see the URL. All right, let's chat pop out is blurry. Check the settings on your side. Let's go. Oh, see here, yeah, I'm even seeing it blurry. Click the gear icon on your side and change the quality to higher quality. That should be a change on your side, the viewer's side. I should expect to. Some of you may have to do that. Okay.
Not blurry to me. I'm watching 1080.
All right.
I'm watching 1082.
All right. So in the Zoom session, we have Alex and we have Aljaž. So Aljaž, my first question to you: how am I doing on the pronunciation of your name?
You're the closest one.
I'm the closest one.
Yes.
Okay. So first name Aljaž.
No, Aljaž Tepej.
Okay, give me just the first name.
Aljaž Tepej.
Okay, Aljaž. Okay, now pronounce your last name for me.
Tepej. T-E-P-E-J. I'm from Slovenia. It's Middle European.
Okay.
European.
Okay, so just pronounce your last name without any other sentence, without any other words.
Can I spell it?
Say again?
I will say Tepej.
Tepej.
Tepej. Yes.
Tepej.
Yes.
Tepej.
No, never mind.
Oh, you're not going to do that to me again, are you? I keep trying to get people's names right, and they say, oh, never mind. Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
I care. I want to get it right. Please.
It's okay.
It's okay.
If I you how Carrie calls me.
Yeah, I've heard Carrie's pronunciation, but I.
Okay, let's try this again. Okay.
Yeah.
Tepej.
Tepej.
T-E-P-E-J.
Tepej.
No. I will tell you. I will explain it privately. Okay.
All right.
I will join your Zoom, and we will exercise it for 1 week.
All right.
Okay?
Moving forward.
Because I don't want to see no chat because they are laughing.
Okay. All right. So we've got a topic to discuss with Aljaž and a topic to discuss with Alex. I think Alex's is going to take less time, so I'd like to go ahead and start with that. Alex, you ready to give us an update on your job search?
Give me just a minute.
A minute.
I got ice in my mouth.
I'm watching the second hand. He's got ice in his mouth, I think he said.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm looking back at chat. I'm not going to try to catch up with everything new that's come in chat because a lot of it has to do with the resolution issues and notifications. My questions there. Ida Rivera, hello. So lucky we get 2 live streams today from Doug.
All right,
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, so as I just said before, about 2 weeks ago, I get a phone call from this manager, from the operations manager of this locally owned small business. It's an MSP, a managed service provider. I applied for this position on Indeed about a month ago. So 2 weeks after I applied, I hear from this guy. I talked to him for 30 minutes. He says he wants to schedule time for us to meet and ask me where I want to meet and all that, because I explained my disabilities and all that, and he's offered for me to pick the place and for us to meet somewhere that's accessible so my mom doesn't have to drive all over the place and everything. Well, Thursday we meet. My mom is in there waiting with me so she can meet the guy and then leave after he gets there. Me and him talk for about all of the technical aspects, like, do I know Windows Server? Do I know Active Directory? Do I know this and that and everything else? After the interview, the last question he asked me is, he said he asked it to everybody that he has interviewed in the past. The question is, if Superman and Batman were in a fight, who would win? Explain your answer. I could not explain that to him right on the spot. So he said, send me an email. Send me an email. I come up with a response, and he said, this is great. About 3:30 that same afternoon, I get a Facebook message from the owner of the company, the CEO, owner of the company, that says, you can go ahead and add me on Facebook if you want to. Like add me as a friend. And then he says, I'm assuming your phone number's on your resume because I'd like to give you a call when I get a moment. So, and if nothing else, the manager that came to interview me likes the food at our local family owned restaurant down here. So he's got a new place to eat if he's ever down here again.
Yeah, that should clinch the job for you. All right. So what was your answer? Who was going to win? My first response was going to be Catwoman.
I'll read it. I'll read it to you if you.
I don't know. I'm worried about how long it might be.
It's not that long.
All right, go ahead.
I gotta find it here. I say I've given it. I would like to reconsider my answer. I have to admit I have never seen nor have I ever been interested in Batman or Superman at all. Despite this, I'm still going to give you my best possible answer, and that is the following. Superman has vastly more abilities than Batman, so unless kryptonite is involved, which is Superman's weakness that he cannot fight back against, Batman would win. In all other circumstances, as it seems, though apart from this, Superman would win simply because he's stronger and more powerful in every other way possible. That was my answer.
Okay, I got it. I think I would probably have said that Batman's a regular mortal. He's just wealthy, and so he has all these gadgets and tools. Superman has powers that humans don't have. Now, then the other thing, the joke answer for me was who's going to win between Superman and Batman in a fight? Who's going to win that confrontation? It would be Catwoman.
Now, make no mistake about it. I made sure to ask him before he left Thursday. Once he asked me that question, I made sure to ask him if my answer to that question would impact their hiring me or whatever, and he said no.
You know what? I think that the thing that kind of a question does accomplish is
shows my writing skills.
Yeah, your communication skills. How well can you communicate what you're thinking, and not so much about what your answer is going to be.
That was his reasoning too. When I asked him, that was his reasoning for.
All right, so let's go see what ChatGPT says. Who would win a battle between Batman and Superman? What does ChatGPT says? Difficult to say who would win a battle between Batman and Superman. It depends on the circumstances, the version of the characters being used. That's exactly what Alex said. In general, same idea. In general, Superman has incredible physical strength, speed, ability to fly, while Batman relies on his intelligence, technology, and combat skills. In most scenarios, Superman would likely have the upper hand due to his superhuman abilities. However, if Batman has had time to prepare and plan, he may be able to use his intellect and resources to gain an advantage over Superman. Ultimately, it's important to remember that Batman and Superman are both heroes who typically work together to fight crime and protect the innocent. In most situations, they would not be fighting against each other. Good point.
Well, I have to admit, and I didn't tell him this, I have to admit, since I've never seen any of the movies or anything, I had to kind of cheat and Google it to
find out something about them. Yeah.
To find out something to give a semi legit answer.
All right.
Otherwise, I have no idea.
Okay. So, best wishes from everybody in the community for your job search. For those who don't know, Alex graduated with a college degree in IT support somehow. What is specifically the degree?
Yeah, the specific degree is Associates of Network Management.
Okay. And so since you're specifically a recent graduate in the subject area of which we are all interested in, that's why your job search is something we're all particularly rooting for. Okay. Let's move on to the topic with Aljaž. And Aljaž, you are on no camera today, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, very good. And let's go, I'm going to go back and bring up that wording of the topic. Internet connection types, xDSL versus DOCSIS versus fiber. And so I have vague awareness of these three, and I'm deducing that you probably have more recent awareness or more thorough.
Yes. What do you want to know first? Copper or fiber?
I would like to let you choose how to present. Now, so the xDSL is, okay, what I think of it is copper through our phone service. For me, it's AT&T, and we had ADSL. The letter X there would be substituted by some other letter. ADSL, or I think the other was SDSL, and stands for asynchronous versus synchronous.
And we have also VDSL. That is very high dial subscriber line.
Say again?
Very high dial subscriber line, VDSL.
VDSL. So ADSL, SDSL, and VDSL.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And ranking from the lowest capability to the highest capability.
Yes.
How do they go?
VDSL had the slowest is ADSL. Then we have ADSL2. Then we have ADSL2 plus. Then we have VDSL. Then we have VDSL2. Then we have VDSL2B. And then we have VDSL2 vectoring.
All right. Now that would all typically be, we said, through copper and through the phone company. Now that's not going to be a cable.
No,
service.
that is cable is via DOCSIS.
Cable is the DOCSIS. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
DOCSIS we have basically DOCSIS was DOCSIS 1.0. That was around, I don't know, 20 years ago. This thing comes out, and then we upgrade to DOCSIS 2.0. Then we have DOCSIS 3.0. Mostly users now using DOCSIS 3.1. And now they invented new standard calling DOCSIS 4.0. That will be symmetrical speeds up to 10 gigabit download and 10 gigabit upload. 10 gigabit download.
Let's wait for a moment for Gary. Okay, Gary's got it is muted.
And let's make this even more confusing just for Doug, just for a minute. VDSL, which is the connection I had before I got fiber to the home, is also known as fiber to the cabinet.
It's not necessary. It can be also to FTTB. Alex.
Okay, so
also,
VDSL has a couple different variations. Is that what that's saying?
The way I understand it, a VDSL is also known as fiber to the cabinet, meaning the provider has a box out by the street that has a fiber connection coming into it, but from their box to your house, it's copper.
Yes, telephone line.
Okay. All right.
It can be also equipment can be also in your basement if you live in apartment buildings. Closer is fiber to your location, higher will be speed.
All right.
Because DSL basically goes up to 5 kilometers. Maximum copper line can be straight. Then it's the end for DSL.
No.
What? Yes, Gary?
Go ahead, Gary.
Maximum DSL right now is 100 meg. Very rare, but they can do it. And cable
DSL goes up to 300 megabit per speed, 300 megabit down. You know what is the most interesting part of the DSL? You have two apartments less than 10 meters apart. One apartment will get 70 megabit down, another apartment will get 10 megabit down. Because those lines are individual. I know what my English is horrible. Individual. And thus one copper line can be damaged and one can be normal. If you know what you're talking about.
Aljaž, where does your knowledge in all of this come from? Have you been working in the industry, or is this?
No, I learned.
Why?
I learned on my free time.
You learn all this on your free time. It's some reason you're interested in all this, whereas I say I don't care.
Yeah. He's the same way I am. To me, college was basically a verification of stuff I already knew, so I could get the piece of paper. There was some of it, mainly the Cisco, the networking part of it that I didn't know before, but quite a bit of it, like the server and all the Windows stuff and basic networking router troubleshooting stuff I already knew. So,
but basically you have DSL. It doesn't care which DSL it is. You have SNR, signal to noise ratio. Higher is signal, higher broadband will be. We have one situation I can share you. data sold by my ISP in the rural area. My ISP technician went to the site why customer gets this random disconnection every 10 seconds. And he hook up his telephone, and every 10 seconds he heard spike, 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 spike. And what on the end happens that farmer connect this electric fence grounded to the ISP cabinet. And that fire fence, electric fence keep disconnecting DSL line.
Let me repeat that in case people didn't catch it, because that's kind of intriguing. A farmer connected the ground for his electric fence to the cabinet for the DSL, and that damaged or interfered with the DSL signals.
Yes.
Okay.
Every 10 seconds.
That's what it sounded like. Oh, I've never heard of that one before.
Yeah, that's an interesting issue. We have some questions coming through chat on the subject. One, Chris Carrot says he can't hear Aljaž, but what he's saying, Chris, you can hear the other Zoom participants, but you can't hear Aljaž at all. Now, he does have an accent, so you might be having difficulty understanding him, and he knows that, and I'm struggling too. And then Al Neo says, I have used dial-up to ADSL to VDSL to fiber, all of them. So are you saying, Al Neo, you've used dial-up to ADSL, and you use dial-up to VDSL, and you use dial-up to fiber? I don't think that's what he's saying. I think dial-up to ADSL, VDSL is not a dial-up, right?
No, it's not.
And fiber is not a dial-up. So the dial-up part of that comment from Al Neo is just ADSL.
He's just saying he's at some point in his life he's used them all.
Yeah,
like,
that's.
I can say this. I can say the exact same thing. I've used all those technologies, including cable internet as well, at my grandma's.
Yeah, I suspect I have too. I just haven't bothered with understanding.
Well, it's because I have to understand it, because I have to maintain both our network equipment here and her network equipment there, because I'm the one that has to call if there's a problem. So
I can call if there's a problem without understanding the technologies.
Well, that's just me. I just want to.
Yeah.
I know more than the technicians on the phone do.
That's fine. And then Martin Hoggs.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, Aljaž.
I just asked, can you hear me now perfectly?
I can hear you, yes. I've been able to hear you all along. I don't know what Chris is saying about not being able to hear. Oh, he says he has too much background today for Zoom. I can hear you and Alex just fine through YouTube. Aljaž is low. So Chris has extra noise in his background, so we're not going to be able to fix that. Martin Hogg asks a question, what about SOGEA?
SOGA. That is
He spelled it as SOGEA. I have no idea.
Is that an acronym or?
That's what it looks like. He's got it in all caps in the chat room. At 33 minutes after the hour, wherever you are in the world, if you have timestamps turned on for the chat room, you'll see it at 33. I'll go ahead.
I'm looking at SOGA.
All
I
right.
like this because I never heard about it.
All right, so I'll go do a search for it and say, I'll say what is, broadband, telecoms. Yeah, see, what is SOGEA broadband? SOGEA is a dedicated internet line that delivers a broadband connection to business premises, but it doesn't run over a traditional PSTN, public switch telephone network, phone line, instead using the same fiber-based technology as FTTC.
Oh, that means business fiber.
Okay.
That is not for customers, that is for businesses. Telcos making connections for residents and for businesses.
Okay.
The same equipment. It is basically same equipment, but telcos charging businesses more than to you.
Well, now here's an interesting thing. This paragraph here is saying FTTC is capable of providing a data and voice service, whereas SOGEA carries data only.
Yes, you can have, if you're using DSL, ISPs can give you a special splitter between DSL and plain own telephone system. So you can have telephone service and VDSL on same line because they are not sharing frequencies. They're using higher frequencies than PSTN service.
All right. I think probably my perspective on all of this is just to be aware that there's a whole lot that I don't know, and which I've always believed.
Ask.
A lot of people think that you have to have a phone line, an actual voice phone line to have DSL, but you don't. Also.
All right.
Ask what you want to know. I will answer, Doug.
Go ahead.
I will answer. Ask, I will answer. I'm open up. If you don't, what do you want to ask?
Oh, I don't have any questions. I don't.
Okay, now then we will move to the cable network, to the DOCSIS part. Now we have DSL. Does question have, chat room has any questions about DSL?
Oh yeah, the chat room has more comments or questions, so I'll continue with those. From Martin Hogg, FTTC is fiber to the cabinet in the UK.
It's not just in the UK, it's globally. You have FTTP, FTTC, FTTH, or FTTB. That is on fiber.
All right.
How close the fiber comes to your building? FTTC is fiber to the cabinet, as Alex says. That is a bit 1 kilometer between you and your ISP equipment. That is normally.
Okay.
And then you have FTTP. If you live in, I don't know, skyscraper or something else, ISP will have in the basement and then goes regularly telephone lines up to your equipment. And then you have FTTH, that is fiber directly to your modem. That is most common if ISP is selecting fiber.
Is it correct to say that FTT, you've got the first three letters FTT, that's all fiber, and the fourth character is going to distinguishes how close it gets to your actual devices? Okay.
Yes. Plus you have two types of fiber, active fiber and passive fiber.
Okay.
On active fiber, every subscriber have direct fiber line between you and your ISP's OLT.
All right.
That is those ISP normally supported LLU. LLU stands for local loop unbundling. That means you have 4 or to 5 ISPs in the same area, and everyone will set up own OLTs, and they can have broadband only sharing fiber cable.
Okay. So do I understand then that active fiber, the end user has a direct line to the ISP, yes. Passive fiber, it is shared to some extent.
Passive fiber is shared. That is called, you heard about it under the name GPON, Gigabit Passive Optical Network. That is between you and your ISP OLT, that is optical line terminal, is a passive switch.
Okay, let me continue to the next. Well, let's see. Bobby Warren saying, Doug, Cox has data cap for 1 terabyte or unlimited for $40. So am I reading that to mean that for an extra $40 per month they have unlimited, otherwise it's capped at 1 terabyte? How about the topic of capping data quantities?
That is not allowed in Europe.
Not allowed. All right.
No,
Where are you anyway? Where in the world are you, Aljaž?
I told you I'm Slovenia.
Slovenia. Yes, you did.
Yes.
Keep in mind, Doug's brain only remembers so much. I don't remember everything that you say.
As bad of a reputation as my ISP has, that's a one good thing everybody can say about him is they've never had a data cap from
Okay.
dial up to now. They've never had any kind of. It's always been completely unlimited.
All right. I think I recently showed on my channel that I was approaching a data cap. Yeah, I did show that. I think last Saturday or the Saturday before when I was doing so much of 8-hour long unlisted live streams to test my internet connection. And I got a message saying I was reaching my limit.
I must say a lot of ISPs here in Slovenia also have unlimited data on mobile.
For mobile. All right.
Yes, you can have unlimited broadband via 5G.
Now, but I've heard some services claim they have unlimited data cap, but yet some of them would slow you down once you reach a certain level. But they'd still say you're on.
Do that.
That is normal on mobile.
And normal on
When
mobile.
you reach
All right.
on if you're using broadband via 5G or 4G, if you use 1 terabyte, they will slow you down to 50K connection. That is basically unusable for me.
Okay. Let me go on to the next comment.
For AT&T, the unlimited limit is 22 gigs, which is what my mom and dad have.
All right. So let me rephrase and get that again. You said for unlimited service, the limit is that what you
22.
just said?
Yes.
Yeah. And that means that's when they start throttling the connection.
Yes.
Okay. Then Martin Hogg says, in the UK, FTTP is fiber to the premises. The fiber terminates on an ONT unit, and the router connects with the ONT.
What he said?
Yeah, okay.
I just read. In UK, fiber to the premises, fiber ends. Yeah, that is normally. Units connect to the ISP via copper line, telephone line, LGLM.
Okay.
I can tell by your voice. You really don't understand all this, or having a hard time understanding it, or something.
No, that's not. You're not interpreting correctly my voice. More correct interpretation is I don't feel I really care to learn it more. It has no bearing on my service to my clients. It has no bearing on my use of my own computers. It may be that whatever service that I have is one of those, but if I wanted a better service or if I wanted to save money, I would call my internet service provider and ask them what is the next plan up or the next plan down. Frankly, I don't care what that technology is. I admit that other people do care about it, and that is apparently shown in the chat room and by the conversation that we're having. But you can't, by bringing this topic to me, you can't make me care about it. It makes no difference at all to the service that I provide to my clients or for myself.
I have interest in technology, so I learn it.
Yeah, well, I have interest in technology too, but not that technology.
Yes, I was first starting on computers, then I moved off computers to that topic.
Yeah, if you
is interested.
Yeah, that's the area of technology that interests you, and I think it's significant to confess that everybody has different areas that interest them. Just because a person is intrigued or interested in technology doesn't have to mean that they're interested in all forms of technology. We have an internet service provider that one of my clients uses that was I don't know how to describe them. It's not the cable company, it's not the phone company, it's a business internet service company, and they invited me to drive to Bakersfield, which was about 2.5 hour drive away, to go to these free seminars of theirs. And I went to them 2 or 3 times, and they were talking about the technology from their end that they deal with that have had absolutely no relevance to me in the service that I provide to my clients. If I were to put in the effort to learn that technology, it doesn't make me any better capable to service my clients. And that's where I need to be focusing my attention. So sorry,
It would be like if you went to the data. It would be like if you went to the data center, like I did when I was in college, and my instructor took us to the data center, and they talked about all of the stuff they do on their side.
Yeah. Now let me ask you guys this question: how interested would you be in learning Microsoft Excel macros?
No.
No. See
Not
there?
very.
Neither of you are interested in that area of the technology, yet that's something I've been very, very deep into. Would either of you be interested in learning QuickBooks, the ins and outs of transferring data in and out of QuickBooks between other third-party programs?
I have a question.
No.
What is
Probably
QuickBooks?
no. QuickBooks.
What is that?
See, you don't even know what it is, but I know it intimately. So we're both into technology. Each of us are into technology, but in different areas, in different specialities. Hello, Jim.
Yes. Hello, Jim.
And I've come across this before where we're talking with another technician and they find out that I don't have any awareness of a topic they're talking about, and so they think less of me. That is not.
No, I don't think that.
That is not a reasonable thing to do. And I'm not pointing the finger at either of you or any of you for that. But I think it is significant for anybody involved in technology to admit and recognize that there is a wide number of different specialities, and you just don't have to know it all. And it's frustrating to come across people who think they know it all because they know everything in their field of interests.
No, I don't know everything. I'm not
Well,
perfect.
in your field of interest, when you talk to other people, you probably know so much more than many of the people that you talk to, except for the ones that are in your special area, that
A lot of
it
people
would be
know more
easy to
than me.
think so.
A lot of people know a lot of more than me. I'm not perfect.
Yeah, well, none of us are.
Yes.
None of us are, and that's
It's
an
the same way
important
with
thing to
me,
recognize.
but also when I talk to people like at college and different places and at church, I have almost everybody who's telling me, Alex, you sure do know a lot of stuff. I admit I know a whole lot more and probably ramble on a whole lot more than a whole lot of people care to know.
Well, among the people that you've been exposed to, Alex, in college and at church and everywhere else that you are currently exposed to other people in your life, you probably know more in these areas and technology areas than anybody else that you're talking to. But that's like the star football player in high school, and then when he goes to college, finds out that he's not even close to competing with the other people. But he thought he was king of the hill because he's better than any of the others in his high school and better than the other high schools that they competed against. But when you get into the rubbing elbows with the people who have had many, many years in the field that you have knowledge in, you might find that you're not comparing quite as well as what you're accustomed to from college and from your other people that you know.
Even the guy that interviewed me Thursday, he knows it because he has to know it, but that's not his actual field. His title is operations manager, but he still has to know a little bit of all the ins and outs of the technology side of their business.
And that's kind of common for people at management levels or business owner levels. that they have people working for them as subordinates that know more, and you don't to be the manager level or the CEO, you don't have to know all of the technical knowledge that your employees do. So it's quite believable that you knew more than either of the two people that you've had encounters with so far. But when you get to working with coworkers, that's where you're really going to find an evaluation of how well your knowledge is.
I agree.
He's still trying to find, the manager is still trying to find people to manage their business Facebook and the business website, because the Facebook hasn't been updated since Thanksgiving of last year.
Let me see what's going on in chat. Chris reports that Aljaz's volume is better. In fact, I noticed a point where, even to me, Aljaz's microphone and volume seemed to get a lot better. So I think whatever that issue was, we're got that good.
Maybe it was software bug.
It was what?
Maybe we have something problem with Zoom.
It's working fine now, and apparently.
Okay. Next thing I want to try is Starlink internet.
Static.
I really want to know Starlink. That is Elon Musk's thing.
Starlink.
Starlink.
Yeah, Elon Musk's. I looked into it a little bit, as I have a brother who is traveling the country in a van, and so we contemplated that for him. But that doesn't. Their current implementation isn't really a good thing for people on the move. It's good for a person who is in a location that isn't serviced by other traditional internet services, but it's best that you're at a static location. And I thought the price was reasonable, but I don't have any direct experience with it, and I don't have any clients using it.
I want to see how ping works when it's rainy day, or it's a foggy day, or it's any problems.
Right.
We have Starlink Maritime, and it's great.
That's right, Gary. You've told some stories about your Starlink.
Yeah, we have Maritime. It's in Tampa. My granddaughter's using it when she goes out on the boat.
Yeah.
But we're still getting it free for now. And the day they charge is the last day we have it.
And that's specifically Maritime, which lets you be mobile.
Yep. And it works cruising at like 30 knots.
Cool. Now,
it's not worth paying for, so it's not worth paying their hefty price.
Take a look at the hefty price. No way in heck.
Yeah. And I'm guessing, I'm suspecting then that it is substantially more expensive than land-based Starlink.
20 times?
20 times more expensive for Maritime. Wow.
They're charging $5,000 a month. We're getting it free as a beta. We've been doing it for a year and a half.
All right. So you're providing it.
And how much more than cost? Sorry, Doug.
It's $5,000. Wintermute already looked it up. I mean, I knew what it was. I mean,
$5,000 to purchase the equipment, and then you have a monthly fee.
$5,000 a month. We don't pay. We are free.
Oh, you rent it.
$5,000 a month.
And at a speed test, we're getting about 300 meg down and about 50 up.
300 meg down, 50 up. Okay. Wow.
But that cruising, and she's went to the Cayman Islands with her boyfriend.
Do cruise ships use? Cruise ships has had internet longer than Starlink's around, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
How do they do it?
They use regular satellites.
Okay.
Regular satellites. All right.
Yes, those old ones, so on C-band.
Okay. And
Are those the same ones that are used for like Viasat and HughesNet?
Yes, those old technology, satellite internet, that is not unlimited.
Not unlimited.
Yes.
How's the expense?
Those Ka band internet, it goes up to, I don't know, 20 megabits down and 2 up maximum. It's 1 terabyte data cap for around, I think, more than $100.
$100 a month. Okay.
More. Plus equipment, you must buy it.
Okay.
Modem. And instructions how to you set up is 3 times more difficult than Elon Musk internet.
All right, let me catch. I'll catch some more questions in chat. No voice on SOGEA. In the UK, SOGEA means single order generic Ethernet access. And Greg says I have no data caps on fiber 500/500. Data cap means of revenue sourced by ISPs. Ran Israel says we have data caps for mobile plans but not landlines. Bobby says I'd pay $40 more for unlimited. Greg M, they throttle you so much that the only thing you can do is maybe email. I have an ONT here in my apartment where the fiber connects to. Greg M, here the company says they have fiber, but it's fiber to the box. The rest is coax. Bobby Warren, my cable and internet bill through Cox is $260. Yikes. Chris Garrett, I'm paying unlimited to AT&T Uverse because I watch some channel through IPTV built into my TV. I really have no need for Dish Network, but my mother cannot use smart TV services. I could disable my Dish box, but it doesn't cut down my bill much. Greg M, I have no TV here other than 3 OTA channels. I do not miss it. John Williams, AT&T Fiber offered in Madison Wi-Fi, or but is really expensive. I'm happy with Spectrum as my ISP and TV provider. Bobby Warren, I have Gigablast and 125 channels, 3 boxes. Wintermute explained QuickBooks is accounting software. Greg M, I did the transfer of data between QuickBooks and other systems. Chris Garrett, I paid $260 for Cox. Chris Garrett, my LG TV has IPTV built in. I think it's Pluto or Tubi. It's free and over 400 channels. William Dawson, every field has its own tech, even it is all tech but different from other areas, even as they may seem to understand a limited amount about others because they need to have a basic understanding. Bobby Cox just called me and asked me if I got home life, I can lower my bill. Okay, some kind of lower, maybe low income program.
When the sales guy came out to hook us up because my ISP canceled the account, he tried to tell me that you could get it on like their affordable connectivity program, like I could get it for like $30 a month instead of like $60. But then I quickly found out since I'm on the free government cell phone plan, I already use the ACP Affordable Connectivity Program on my cell phone. And if I switch it over to the internet here at the house, I won't be able to have it on my cell phone. And I'd rather have it on my cell phone and pay the normal rate for the internet here at the house.
Got it. Makes sense. And let's see, Bobby Warrington, Wintermute, do you know what Cox Home Life is? Greg M, cruise ship is cruise ship internet SCRP. I don't know. Let's see, Greg M, did he clarify what that was? I don't know what that is. Wintermute, no Bobby, no Cox around here, can look it up. William Dawson, does Starlink Maritime use an antenna that is self-tracking? Oh, that's interesting. So I guess that's a question to Gary. Does the Maritime Starlink have a self-tracking antenna?
Yes, it does.
It does. Okay, so it physically moves, so it stays focused on the satellite.
Basically, it's on a gimbal, yes.
Okay, cool. Then next, Bobby Warren. Okay, thank you for looking it up. Compared it with my Gigablast and 125 channels from Tom K. Hi, Doug and everyone. Have a question under command prompt. How do excuse me, how do you disable a category under the audit poll settings? Let's see, try that again. Hi, Doug and everyone. I have a question under command prompt, so DOS command prompt. How do you disable a category under the audit poll settings? I don't understand that at all.
Yeah.
Jim's saying that doesn't understand it either, right? So clarify your question, Tom. When you say command prompt, are you saying Windows key, CMD, and bring up this black screen for command prompt? Is that what you're referring to? I don't know what audit poll settings is there. Wintermute looks to be for internet plus smart home, no TV, phone. That would be referring to that Cox Home Life. Martin Hogg,
Yep.
Go ahead.
It's not important. I was just going to say, I don't have any, just in case you was wondering, I don't have any update for my dad's website. He's not worried about it. Although, when I did call the customer service, the web hosting company, I did ask them how long they will keep my virtual machine around before they delete it, and they said usually it's a month, but because you called in, I'll put an extension on it. So I'm hoping that we get it fixed before they delete it, because if they delete it, I'm gonna have to start all over again. That's gonna suck.
And this conversation is in reference to something we talked about a few days ago, I think it was. But Alex, I have a question in regards to how some people are getting different results when they go to your dad's website. Have you experimented with?
Yeah. Basically, the short answer to your question, Doug, is if I open up an incognito window in Google Chrome, or if I go to the website using any other browser, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, and Opera, I get the same result. And that is, I can get the option that says proceed to unsafe at the bottom if I click on advanced.
Okay, that does not respond to my question, probably because you didn't let me finish my question.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you try changing DNS settings? So like if you were to use the same DNS servers that I'm using, would you get a different result?
No, I would not. No, I would not.
Does that mean you have tried it, or you're saying from you're intellectually declaring that it wouldn't make a difference?
I'm saying in my mind it wouldn't make a difference. What DNS servers do you mean? Do you mean on the actual website server, or do you mean on my actual computer?
I'm displaying it now on my computer. So let's see. Well, almost. Get to the right click here. Change adapter options, and then bring this over here and go to my Ethernet properties, IPv4 properties. I have, whoops, that's not the one I was expecting to see. Is it over? Oh, that one that I just displayed was for my virtual box. So that was the wrong Ethernet that I was displaying. Here, if I go to IPv4, I have DNS servers, these two DNS servers. The first one is Comcast. The other one is, I think it's Google. Google's not the right name for it. Somebody's going to say it in chat, but I have 75.75.75.75 and alternate 8.8.8.8. So I'm saying the DNS server on your computer, change to these addresses and see if you get a different result. Because it's the way you were there was something that was happening in regards to that 404 service not found.
Mm-hmm.
It just struck me as a DNS issue. And
that error I was getting on my computer that you said you wasn't able to see, I've narrowed that down as to being a Google Chrome configuration issue, or the way my Google Chrome is set up on my computer, so that has nothing to do with the actual website.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a setting configuration from your computer, not the website. So I'm proposing that you try putting in static DNS addresses and see if it makes a difference. I'm sensing you don't want to do that.
I mean, I could.
It doesn't take long to do. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Okay, Martin is asking, Doug, how did you get on with that slow computer at your client? Before we jump to that topic, let's see if we've got any more on the topic of internet services first. Tom K says, audit poll get category : stars. This is in relation to what he said earlier about the question about command prompt. How do you disable a category under audit poll settings? He's saying yes, admin, audit poll. Okay, so I'm going to do a copy there and go to command prompt as administrator. Yeah, it looks like I haven't crashed my live stream yet. And then paste that. Looks like I pasted a space at the beginning, so take that space out. Audit poll get category star. Audit poll is not recognized as an internal or external command. So, Tom, give me some other clarification there. I don't get what you're after. I don't recognize. Oh, he's got two. It looks like it's misspelled. He's got two U's. So I'm going to change that to be one U. Take out that extra space at the beginning, see if that gets me something. The parameter is incorrect. So audit poll command. Let's see, get displays current audit policy. If I just do audit, okay, audit policy. So you're auditing a group policy, is that what this is? Displays current audit policy, sets the audit policy, displays selectable policy elements, saves audit policy to a file, restores audit policy from a file, clears audit policy. So I'm thinking that's auditing group policies. I've never done it, not aware of it. And his question is on that subject, I have a question under command prompt, how do you disable a category under audit policy settings? I think I must be misunderstanding my guess of what audit policy would be doing. It seems like it'd be auditing what's happening in relation to group policies. I'm not sure how or why you do that. Then William Dawson, makes sense just like a GPS antenna mount on the deck area shows a true location where if it was mounted on a mast near the top, it would move over a larger arc. On the deck, on the mast it would move over a larger arc. It seems like you're so far away from the satellite, I can't imagine the difference between the altitude of the deck versus the altitude of the top of the mast is going to make that much difference to how much the antenna needs to move to follow the satellite. Not moving that quick in relation. How to disable a setting is what he's asking about.
Doc, I have also a question.
Okay.
About this mess. Does not Elon Musk satellites move in orbit? They are not static.
Yeah, I believe Elon Musk's satellites are in a static orbit, so they're not moving. They'll stay with the geographical location of the Earth, but the ship is moving. The boat is moving.
Okay. I think also satellites are moving. They are not in static position.
No, the satellites are in a static position over the Earth.
Oh, okay.
So they're in geosynchronous orbit. Hey, there's a tech
Okay.
term Doug knows. It's outside of his bailiwick. Does that impress anybody?
I have no idea about those.
Okay.
Jim is
there-
laughing.
There
Why?
we go. Say again?
Why is Jim laughing at us?
Jim, what did you find entertaining there?
Oh, the big college word that you used.
Geosynchronous orbit?
Yes.
You didn't think I had that in my vocabulary, did you? I just pulled that right out. Right near the surface.
I was saying geo satellites are normally used for satellites for television service, like you have Dish Network.
Sure. Sure. I think there's lots of satellites that need to have geosynchronous orbits. We need them to stay pretty static.
Because I know those for GPS are 100% moving.
GPS are moving. Yeah.
Yes, those satellites.
Yeah, GPS satellites. You're saying I don't know. I did not know that GPS satellites are moving in relation to the Earth.
Yes, they are.
Ah, okay. That's interesting. And thinking about why would they need to be moving? Why wouldn't they be geosynchronous?
Because they are in low atmosphere.
Low atmosphere. Okay.
Yes. Then do you have low atmosphere, mid atmosphere, high atmosphere, and geostatic atmosphere?
And being in low atmosphere, it seems like that would help with them providing precise coordinates. If they are higher, just thinking of I was going to try to impress Jim again with another word, and I'm not thinking of it.
GPS devices don't have huge antennas.
Triangulation. That's the word that I was looking for. The GPS satellites in lower orbit would improve their accuracy with triangulation than if they were in a higher orbit. I think.
Agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey Doug, I just changed my DNS settings on the computer and no dice. It all worked.
All right. It was just an idea. So that is informative. So that tells me that it's not DNS related. So that goes back to the idea that's got something to do with configuration of your computer. And the comment that I had made previously, I heard your argument against that comment, and I have another rebuttal, was when I said that because I was saying that you used your computer to set up that self-signed certificate, and you said, no, you didn't, that you used some service. Yes, but you used your service to go to that you used your computer to go to that website. So you didn't drive to that service company to do your self-signed certificate there. You used a service to do a self-signed certificate, but you did it from your computer. Yes?
Yes. But the self-signed certificate is being assigned from the actual server that hosts the website.
I do understand that. What was the service that you used for that certificate?
Right now, at the moment, it's using a self-signed certificate because of the payment issue we're having. But under normal circumstances, when it's working correctly, I'm using Let's Encrypt.
Let's Encrypt. Okay. Now, but for the certificate you're using now, how did you accomplish that?
The server did it automatically. I didn't do anything. It did. I woke up one day and it did it automatically.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because the Let's Encrypt certificate that is authentic has to be reassigned every 90 days. And because of a payment issue with our website, it wasn't able to renew that 90-day certificate, which it normally does every 90 days automatically by itself. I don't have to think about it.
Okay, so it was a payment issue to the hosting service for your website, not a payment issue to Let's Encrypt.
The Let's Encrypt part of it is free. It's
a
payment issue to either or both. I don't know at the moment. It's a payment issue to the hosting provider and or the service where I got the actual domain name from.
Okay. So it's not actually clear to you which one of those has the payment issue?
The hosting provider has the payment issue. Linode has the payment issue. I don't know if there's a payment issue right now on the domain Registry. The people that I actually got the name from, I'll have to check into that and see.
Okay. Let me get back to chat. Aljaž in chat was asking if there's any last questions about internet connection. You have no auditing success, and let's see, Tom K. You have no auditing success and success and failure. So that's back on Tom's question. Audit pool, get category, how to disable a setting. I'm going to look forward for other Tom's questions. It's a question for school, for his school, I guess. Audit poll get category, audit get category, audit poll get category. I copied the command from my PC. I can't give you an answer because I'm not informed on the topic of audit poll. And is anybody else responding to that?
I don't know anything about that either.
Yeah.
But just so everybody knows, if you go with a normal service provider, like normal web hosting service provider like GoDaddy or Bluehost or whatever's out there, you don't have to think about all these configuration issues. But because I'm special and because I'm a techie guy and because of the way I have R set up, it's more complicated than most people's setups for their websites. So it's not something a normal person like Doug would have their website set up, because I basically got a clean instance of a computer and basically had to install all of the software completely from scratch. But if you know how to do it, all that gives you more control over everything than you would if you.
I think I might go clip a piece of audio out of this show to document that I have been elevated to the status of a normal person. Thank you, Alex. Okay. Coming back.
Well, I was just using Jim's terminology. He always says normals, I think.
All right. Yep. Oh, I use that too. Tom, has Tom actually asked us the question? What is the question that is being posed to him? I have a question under command prompt. How do you disable a category under audit policy settings? I think you probably have to have whatever education Tom's going through to pull up that knowledge. So I don't think anybody else here is responding to that.
What is he talking about? I'm missing it.
Well, Tom's original question up here, I'll go highlight it. It's at 3 minutes after the hour, the most recent hour. It says, "Hi, Doug and everyone. I have a question under command prompt. How do you disable a category under audit poll settings?" And he gave us a little bit more on that with this command audit poll get category, and I'll Control-C, copy that, and go back to my command prompt and paste that and fix the typo with 2 U's there. Audit poll get category, when I press enter there, it says parameter is incorrect. And his question, let's see, get displays the current audit policy. So if I back out on this category part and just do audit poll /get, that supposedly gets the current audit policy, but I'm coming up with nothing. Usage, audit poll command, audit poll, yeah, I'm not getting it. So I should scroll down and see if he's given us any more clarification. I'll go all the way down without highlighting and look up from the bottom. Tom to Rand says, thank you, good sir. So does that mean Rand Israel gave an answer? Geosync, that's ping, so that's a different topic. Low atmosphere, different topic. Here, Rand Israel, audit poll set, category name, success enable disable, failure enable disable. So that does sound like it was on point, because Tom's question was, how do you disable something, right? Going back up, under command prompt, how do you disable a category? And Rand's response was, audit poll get category no space. And where's this at? Here, audit poll set category name, success, enable, disable. So here's where you can do /success : disable. Between the brackets here is showing alternative arguments that you could put after the command of success. So that would be, looks like, for disabling something in audit poll, whatever that is or does. All right, then this is where I was at. Makes sense, just like a GPS mounted deck area, that large arc, I already read that. How to disable this setting. Any last questions about internet connection? Let's see, Wintermute called Cox again. Try to sign up, they said it's $258.98 per month. That was from Bobby to Wintermute for some higher level service. What will you get for that? Tom was telling us this was a question for school that regarding that audit poll. Wintermute Max said Home Life says 128.99 for 1 gigabits per second, but that's not including phone.
And here my mom has complained all these years about paying $90 a month. But that was when we had 50 meg. Now I think $90 is more than adequate for over 500 meg.
Okay. Bobby says he's getting an upgrade on Monday for his modem and router, and will install his Home Life. So it's the Home Life service. Is that? Let's see. Bobby is saying he doesn't want to cut the cord. And Bobby says, I've already have the gig and TV added Home Life. So Home Life is something more above and beyond gigabit service and TV.
Home Life sounds like it. My ISP has something similar. They have, like, you can apparently get like a security system or cameras through them as well. So that may be something similar to what he's referring to there.
All right, might be.
I think Home Life is package what ISPs.
Yeah, some kind of a package. Speedy C was impressed with me using big words.
Nah, you was cool. Doug for the president.
For the president. Yeah, there we go. President of my neighborhood, maybe. I was president of my flying club for a lot of
I have
years.
something untech related to talk about for a second.
All right, go.
I'm getting yet another dog.
Another dog.
Yeah,
All right.
this will make 3. My mom's tired of the two boy dogs we have not staying around her when Daddy's home. So she's gonna get a girl dog, and he's convinced that even though it's a girl, when he's sitting in the recliner with the footrest out, he's gonna have 3 dogs on his lap.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Anyway, I can't. There's times I can't stand having 2 dogs or they're barking. 3 dogs is gonna be even worse. I wonder how I'm gonna deal with all that when I'm trying to do like customer service and technical support and trying to walk somebody through something on the phone.
Yeah.
And most businesses expect, even if you're working from home, they expect it to be relatively quiet on the other end, not a whole bunch of dogs barking and noise.
I've had several dogs in my life, but I've never had one that barks a lot, and that would drive me nuts.
Well, that's all we have is dogs that bark a lot.
Yeah, no thank you. I'll pass on that, and I currently don't have a dog. If I were to get any pet, it would be a dog, but I'm a long ways away from being ready to do that. Hue light bulbs, doorbell, thermostat, that's from Bobby, and regarding, I think that's that home life perhaps has something to do with that. Rand Israel, low atmosphere, lower signal travel time, Bobby Warren. Ordered a smart door lock from Cox Windows stuff and camera. So there's sounding like the package that we were talking about. GeoSync, the ping will never drop below 450 milliseconds. Bobby says, I can see my cameras from my house and my phone. I support my clients in regards to monitoring their cameras from remote locations. And I've done that myself with my own home in a variety of different ways. Some with me buying my own devices and some with devices that are provided by a service. Currently I'm using devices provided by a service. I have like 8 or 9 cameras. And half of them inside the house, half of them outside the house. Compatible device list for home life. I don't see Nest here. Shoot, I need to ask the Cox guy for the thermostat and doorbell on Monday. I've thought about getting the thermostat to go with my Amazon Echo device.
I don't think my mom and dad is ever going to go for that. Like,
Yeah.
smart light bulbs and smart thermostat and smart door lock especially. The only person in this house that's liable to get, maybe at some point get a smart light bulb for the light in my room here is me, but I don't foresee my mom and dad ever getting on that bandwagon as far as like the thermostat and the locks on the doors.
Currently I only have 2. I'll demonstrate one right now. You see the colored lights behind me against the wall. Alexa, turn off Big Beast Lair.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on Big Beast Lair. Whoops, she don't want to do that. Alexa, turn off studio lights.
Okay.
Alexa, go to sleep. She's not answering. Alexa, turn on Big Beast Lair. Alexa, turn on Big Beast Lair.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on studio lights.
Okay.
All right. So much for that.
Doug,
Yes.
what next will be? What next smart thing will be? Smart microwave? Smart fridge?
No, I don't see that. My dishwasher's kind of limping along, so I need to replace the dishwasher, but I can't imagine why I'd want to do that through a smart device.
Smart dishwasher.
Yeah.
Air conditioning and heating, I'm interested in being able to give a echo command. I tend to keep them off until I want to warm up or want to cool down. I don't set a thermostat and leave it. So I'm frequently going to the thermostat myself and changing it. And I have 2 thermostats in the house, downstairs and upstairs.
If you watch Carrie Hosman's YouTube channel,
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5 years he was sarcastic about smart fridge. Why you want a smart fridge? You want to play Candy Crush on it?
Well, my understanding of what a smart fridge does is you can be off at the grocery store and you can connect to your fridge and see what's in it with a camera.
We have that.
You have that?
Yeah. And not only do you do that, you can make lists on it. And like if you're out today, I can add a list to it, Wi-Fi from work, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm just I'll check what's on the list.
And
we're out of milk. You can check that too.
And your wife can play Candy Crush Saga on it. on big screen, not on your tablet PC, on huge screen on your fridge. Isn't that?
So that's
Right, Gary?
Gary. Does your wife play Candy Crush on the refrigerator?
No,
No.
she played Angry Birds after it was not a thing, but that's you don't do much gaming.
No.
I think her biggest game was The Sims, where you build the little cities. My biggest game was Doom. That tells you how long that was.
I would not sneer at anybody for having a smart appliance if they actually utilize it and it actually makes their life easier. Right? It's easy to criticize or snicker at a smart device that seems, why would you have a smart toaster? But if somebody finds that it benefits them and they like it, hey, fine.
Oh.
One smart device that I have that some people don't like is, the Alexa or the Google Home.
Yeah.
I like my Google that I have though, my Google speaker that I have for one very specific reason, and that's because I have a Google Voice number. I can make outgoing calls from the speaker by voice. So if I fall on the floor or something, it won't call. I can't ask it to call 911. I have to ask it to call the local dispatch or whatever. But if something happens, if I fall down or something, I can ask it to call whoever.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Now I use my Echo device. I have 3 of them in the house, and I use my Siri voice activation a lot. I use both of those devices a lot, and I find it very useful. I miss them when I don't have them. When I'm up at the cabin, I find myself sometimes wanting to call out to the Amazon Echo device for something, and I can't do that, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way. And the people who will ridicule by saying, why would you have a smart refrigerator? Do you want to play Candy Crush on it? That's just, I'm sorry, it's just limited thinking.
Sarcastic.
Limited thinking in my mind.
I was sarcastic.
Say again?
I was sarcastic.
You were sarcastic. Yeah, I understand that. I understand it was just humorously sarcastic, but people who really mean that and really feel that, well, you're just, okay, they're just close-minded.
Why don't buy then Android-based toaster? And you have all Google Play apps on it.
I would suggest asking the person who actually uses it and likes it. Ask them the question and listen to their answer. I don't have an answer. I cannot imagine what you would do with a smart toaster or a smart
microwave.
Yeah, or a dishwasher. I don't know what they would be, but I would be interested to hear somebody's real response. Somebody who actually likes it. Tell me why. What does it do for you?
I have the answer.
Go ahead.
With smart toaster, you get smart bread.
It'll make you smarter?
Maybe.
Okay.
It's ironic they say all these devices are smart. We say all these devices are smart. But really what it's doing is it's making the people dumber because they're...
Agree, Alex. Agree.
And I give more than a passing acknowledgement to the possibility of snooping devices. That, where are these being manufactured from? What might be hidden in them to snoop on people? Now, personally, I don't care about it because I don't think they're snooping on me. I'm not that interesting of a person to snoop on. But putting these smart devices out in the marketplace, they will find their way to important people or people that have, where there would be people interested in snooping on the conversations going on in their homes. I would think.
What I find interesting is my mom and dad say my dad especially says he's worried about it, privacy, wants to be privacy conscious and all that. But meanwhile, both my mom and dad have Samsung Android Galaxy phones that use Google as their main operating system, as well as my dad has a Chromebook.
Yeah. So, but then
kind of
again, are they interesting enough people that somebody would be wanting to spy on them? There's
No.
absolutely no way some employee at Google is interested in spying on them, and I can attest to that from my own business. I have access to so much private, confidential information among my clients that it's insane. If I were a nefarious person, what information I could dig into of my client's data, I'm not interested. It's like a doctor, a medical doctor, particularly say a male doctor servicing women's needs. Is his wife worried about all these female bodies that he sees? No, because he sees so much. It's not. I don't know.
Like, and then they fuss if it don't work, you know, and it's just like, it's like if you're that worried about privacy, you know, the best solution to all of this is to just not use the internet at all.
Yeah, that's true. All right, catching up with chat. Push that button again. Black Serendipity says, good point, Doug. Normal people don't care. LOL, just kidding. Greg M. Flickering. Yes, you will see flickering when I have the chat on screen. I don't know why that is. If you're seeing flickering other than when I'm displaying the chat window, let me know on that. And Brian,
It's your computer.
Yes, there will be a quiz on this, Brian. Darren Gilholm, I paid $81 for 1 gigabyte movies and sports and a lot more. So that's package. Oh, Zvi is asking for a topic number 7. Go see what that is. Let's see, where is that tab? Live streaming here, number 7. Oh, Windows registry sections. We got 15 minutes till the end of the 2 hour. I don't know that I want to go into that now, but let me say this much. The registry doesn't seem to have changed at all in its basic functionality since Windows 95. Once Windows 95 came out, I put together a college course and taught it, well, adult school, our city college adult school, on the Windows registry, and I got some significant clients out of there. IRS was one of them, became a client of mine. When I taught about these the registry hives, HK current user, not current resource. Let's see, HKLM local machine, HK user, HK current configuration, and where the registry hives are stored. And I have a backup process that I do for registries, and I've done a lot of digging into registries and doing manual manipulations of them and patching registries. But yeah, unless there's specific questions, I don't have a actual course ready. One. Go ahead.
Why do they call it H key in front of every other section?
Well, H stands for Hive, Hive, and I haven't ever come across an explanation of why they chose the word hive, but I think of it like a beehive. Each of the different registry hives are stored in a particular file. There's some crossover, but without getting into that detail right now. Why do they call it hive key? Key is referring to the individual items within the registry hive. How they selected that naming convention, I don't know, but prior to registry, we had INI files with Windows 3.1, 3.11, whatever the various numbers were. We had win.ini, system.ini, progman.ini, and there were a few others. And those ini files were all text-based files that defined what made up the program manager in the earlier versions of Windows. But Windows 95 came along, and the whole strategy and structure of Windows changed to now be based on this. Everything is kept in this registry.
You can still use INI files for like device drivers and all that in Device Manager if you need it.
Yeah, INI files are still around, and they're used a lot by other programs. And I still occasionally go into INI files to edit them for one reason or another. But the Windows operating system is now based in this registry.
This NT.
Oh, NT, yeah. Good point. Windows NT came before Windows 95, so registry was there. Good point.
I think Windows NT was before Windows 95.
Yes. Yes. Windows NT was before Windows 95.
I think first operating system based on Windows NT was 3.1. Windows 3.1 NT version.
Well, that
DOS version.
Yeah, you got a point there. You got it. I remember that now. Windows 3. There was a. How did that go? There was a Windows 3.1 server version, maybe, that was somehow also named NT. I'm getting a little foggy there. I wasn't managing servers at that point in time, but that rings a bell of familiarity, what you said there.
There was NT 3.51. There was NT 4. Those I remember.
Yes, I remember those. Yeah, and were those registry based or were those INI based?
Oh, I haven't looked at that in so long. I couldn't tell
Yeah,
you.
I don't think I was looking at that then, but yeah, the 3.5. I don't think that ever became a end user operating system. I think the 3.5 and the 4.0 were those both
They weren't
servers?
The 4.0 wasn't server only.
It wasn't server only. Yeah, I was just thinking of that as you were saying that, but it never. I don't think it really became widespread popularity, did it? 4.0. It seems to me like it was. It seems to me like it was kind of had a Windows ME vibe to it, in my recollection. Just wasn't well received.
By the way, did you ever address number 9?
Number 9. Going back to look at number 9. Update on Chiropractor. No, I have not addressed that yet. So let's go ahead. Let's deal with that. I talked about this a couple days ago on a Windows Daily episode about my chiropractor client, his computer, and I showed a video clip that I had of it, where at a certain particular function inside this software called Chiropractor, which is for managing his chiropractic patients. That was a couple days ago. If you want to go back and see it, you can do that later. I'm not going to show it now. But I actually showed that what's happening on 2 of his computers, and we click a certain button, and it takes much longer on his workstation than it does on one of the computers in the treatment rooms. The computers in the treatment rooms are older, slower, lower equipped computers. The chiropractor's computer is a faster, more powerful, more memory, everything much beefier, because he uses Dragon Naturally Speaking on that computer. After a power outage in his office, he reported that his computer was way slow. And on this particular button is the place where I focused on to really see the difference, because it was a major speed difference. Where on a treatment room computer, click on this button, it takes about 2 seconds for the next screen to populate. On his computer, I don't know what the number of seconds was. I think it was like 20 seconds. It was massively slower. So I had done a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of diagnostics, trying to find the problem, unsuccessful. And in that video, I'm going to say it was Wednesday. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday, because on Thursday he was not going to be in the office at all. So I was planning to do a wipe and reload, install Windows from scratch, and just install the Chiropractor program and see if it's performing normally. Expecting that if it is performing normally, that tells me we do not have damaged hardware by virtue of that power outage and possibly some electrical surge that occurred during that experience. I did not wind up doing that, because on Thursday morning, I was all prepared to go out to his office, but I had a little time here before I was going to be able to leave. So I said, I'm going to try another restore operation. I had already performed a Macrium Reflect image restore from 1 week prior to the power outage. And that's easy to do because there's no data stored on this computer. None at all. So it was going to restore his ChiroTouch and his Dragon, naturally speaking, to 1 week prior to the power outage. So when I did that restore, and the next day he reported problem's still there. So I figured, okay, it's not anything to do with the operating system, because I restored 1 week prior to the problem, and the problem's still present. However, I came to realize I might have missed something there. So what I did on Thursday morning before going to his office is I did another restore using the oldest backup that I had access to, which was December of 2022. So I restored the oldest backup that I had, and then I did the test remotely, and it worked really well. It was very quick and responsive. Then I had already had this in mind, is I deferred Windows updates, prevented Windows updates from occurring. And what this theory was is that when I previously did the restore to 1 week prior to the incident, I did not disable Windows updates. So overnight, is it possible that it performed Windows updates? Yeah. And what was the date of that power outage? What do you think the date of that power outage was? I'm going to bring up a calendar over here and tell you what.
Monday before Patch Tuesday.
No.
I think it was probably Patch Tuesday itself.
Yeah, when they got it.
It was February 14th. Exactly the second Tuesday of February.
Probably during the updates.
Yeah. So I did a Macrium Reflect restore to, it was either the 6th or the 7th. It might have even been the 8th. And I think when I tested it after the restore, I think the test looked good. And I was very optimistic that it was going to work. But I think at that point in time, I didn't consider Windows updates. And so when he tested it the next day, which was not here, this was, when would that have been? That probably would have been last week sometime, somewhere around this first week of March, is when I did the restore to that date. And then, so the next day when he came in and tested it, he reported it was still slow. But I had neglected to consider Windows updates. So currently his computer is restored to the December restoration, and I deferred Windows updates for 1 week. He has reported now 2 days in a row that it's working well. So I just got the most recent report was this morning. I sent him a text so that I could report to you guys. So it appears to be Windows updates. So my next plan there is, I think under advanced options, it's giving me the ability to defer updates for multiple weeks out, which was surprising. I didn't actually look at the whole date list, so I'm not certain about that. But even if it's just 1 week, my next plan is to have a current backup of the way it is now, and then perform the Windows updates. and see if the symptom returns. If it does, then I'll restore to this most recent backup, and then perform a part of the updates, maybe half of the updates, and try to narrow down what is actually causing the problem. Or I might look at what the updates are that are listed, and I might more, target particular updates that I think might be the cause of it. So then I'll just try installing that individual update and see if that causes the problem to return.
When does he get updates for his chiropractic software?
Well, that is another thing, is the chiropractic software. When I did the restore to December and tried to load the chiropractic software, it told me there's the server, our local server, is a more recent version. This computer has to be updated before it will work. So I did install that update, and with the ChiroTouch being updated to the current version, it is still working well. So it's some other driver apparently that was causing the problem. So the ChiroTouch updates happen automatically in the background, and they're fairly frequent. But that was on my mind, and that was a good question, Gary.
No, that's where we beat up on the vertical market software that we used. Not so much. I mean, Windows is Windows if you think about it.
Yeah, and I had another update trouble recently, and that is with XSplit, the software that I use for this live stream. I discovered a problem symptom several days ago, and this is the first time I'm reporting this. It was on my mind to report to you guys, and I just haven't got to it yet. I don't know why. But what was happening is I was experimenting with something. I was playing a video into XSplit and wanting to use that video in a live stream. We haven't got to doing that yet. But I couldn't hear the audio while this video was playing. And I dug through everything I needed to do. I dug through everything. Huh. Oh boy, I didn't even see that coming.
Earth humor.
Yeah, all right.
We amuse Jim. We are amusing Jim here. Isn't it?
All right, back to my story. Where was I at? Yeah, so anyway, I went on to the chat system for XSplit, and this is the contacting tech support in any fashion whatsoever. Not something I look forward to doing, but this went really, really well. So I used the chat system within their website, talking to this person. He took me through some things, asked me to give him screenshots. So I gave him screenshots of settings. And then he says, could you uninstall XSplit and then install this version and see if the problem is still present? So I did that, and that fixed the issue. And so then I asked, well, what is this special version you had me install, and do I need to be worried about updates? And he responded with telling me that it's the prior version of XSplit. So it was exactly their most recent version, trashed this, what I consider to be a basic functionality of the software. And it's further I have routinely stalled, delayed, postponed updates for XSplit and lots of other softwares for this exact reason, so that by the time I delay that update, they will hopefully have figured out that there's a problem and held back the update.
Yeah.
Or something. But in this case,
I was going to say, just be careful when you defer or pause Windows updates, because once it starts again, Windows is going to require that you download the most recent updates before it'll let you pause it again, or defer it again.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. But I can always go back and restore an image backup, and that's why I so love image backups. On this particular client's computer and many of my clients' computers, I have either a second partition or a second drive. In this case, it's a second drive that it makes image backups to, in this case, not every night. It does, I think it's once a week. But that's okay because this computer doesn't store any data locally. It's only the programs and the Windows configuration that we care about on this computer. So because it was only doing one full backup per week, I think is what it is, I was able to reach back to December, which maybe I didn't need to go that far, but when I've had this before where I want to reach back as far as I can, and I like having backups a long time back. Going back to chat. I know that I haven't read everything. I had chat room displayed while I was highlighting chat comments so that you know that I saw them and read them, but not choosing to read them all for time's sake. Martin, how can you tell if a bear has been in your fridge? You'll see his paw prints in the butter. Oh, wait a minute. What? How can you tell if a bear has been in your fridge? You'll see his paw prints in the butter. Maybe I'm looking for more of a joke in there than what's actually present.
I don't get it either.
I was thinking it's going to be peanut butter or it's going to be paw prints. I'm missing something about that, I think. Can it play Doom? That would be the refrigerator. Can the refrigerator play Doom? Or the toaster? My worry would be the man. Say again?
Yes, it can.
Oh, it can.
Why not?
The refrigerator can play Doom.
Candy Crush, it can play Doom.
It can play Candy Crush, it can play Doom. Well, I would have thought
Then your wife comes home and you are doomed.
Oh, yeah. And that's not a game. That's real life. My worry would be the manufacturer ending support, and it's done. And then the other thing, that comment that's been made many times is all of these devices that don't get updates to their operating systems and their BIOS, and they have vulnerabilities. As long as I have to get up and grab the toast, it's of no weight. Can you program it to catapult the toast directly into my plate? Oh, and it looks like Wintermute is actually answering with that. It looks like it's catapult here. Is he actually answering the catapult? Catapult toast. Catapult toaster makes toast of old-fashioned rivals. Get rid of that advertisement.
That's why I got an Android. I made sure that when I got this new TV, I got an Android TV so it gets, regular app updates. So I'm not stuck with the smart in a year from now.
Yeah.
Or 6 months from now, I'm not stuck with the TV that I can't watch a YouTube video on. Because YouTube is updated so frequently.
Alex, on that advertisement that just popped up for me, when I was doing some Google searches regarding your dad's website issue, one of the things I came across was somebody reporting that their ad blocker was causing them similar unusual effects. Did you try disabling your ad blocker to see if that did anything different?
No, I have not. And the reason why I have not is I've been using the same ad blocker for longer than I've had the website. So I've been using it as long as I've had the website, and have never had a problem out of it. I've always been able to completely fully access the website with the ad blocker on, and I haven't changed ad blockers. I've been using the same ad blocker for as long as I've been using ad blocker.
I don't buy that as a reason to not test it, because you're dealing with different circumstances now. All that previous experience you had with the ad blocker, did you ever have the same circumstance of the odd issue with your certificate?
Well,
now,
you blocked by Origin. They had an update 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is updates to your ad blocker could have made a difference. So the fact that something used to work, that's not a reason to not suspect or test, particularly since it's such an easy test. Just turn it off and try it. It's not a big deal.
Will not bite you.
Let's see. So then, one tribute, now you're talking. That would be regarding the toast thing. One away with Windows 2000. How far behind am I? Oh, not too bad. NT3X was before. NT 4.0 was after. Yeah, that makes sense. NT Server 3.51. That rings a bell of familiarity. There were NT Workstation SKUs and server SKUs. Yeah. Why not just uninstall the updates one by one? That's very time consuming. It's much easier to just restore an old image. If I uninstall them one by one and I uninstall one of the updates and that doesn't solve the problem, then I gotta uninstall another one. That doesn't solve the problem, uninstall another one. And each time that I load Chiropractor, there's time involved there. So no, that's very easy for me to answer that. Why not just install the updates one by one, because that'll take much longer to do. And not all updates can be uninstalled. So restoring a system restore is not a system restore, but restoring an image backup is far better, and better than performing a system restore to an earlier date. Much easier, quicker. I can do it remotely. William Dawson, have you checked with Dragon to see if there's any issues reported to them? No, and that wasn't even suspect, because we had the same trouble without having Dragon loaded at all, and the other computers that don't have Dragon loaded were work. Well, no, that's still okay. In fact, the doctor asked me the same question. He says, "Is there any way you can go to any place you can go to talk to other people?" I said, well, I'd have to be finding somebody else who has your set of circumstances, meaning your specific model computer, your Chiropractor, your Dragon naturally speaking, and having this problem. The likelihood of me finding somebody else with that is not as promising as the amount of time that it takes me to do a image restore operation. So I tend to avoid going, well, I'll do Google searches. But even on this one, no, I never did Google search, because how do you word that? It's just so specific. That just didn't feel like a way for me to go.
Disabling ad blocker doesn't help.
Okay, thank you. You see how quick that was to answer? Not painful. Zavi Manor, maybe the .NET framework update caused the problem. Yeah, it's possible. And then here's from Zavi, probably on that specific possibility. February 14th, cumulative update for .NET framework. Summary. Okay, this isn't people reporting trouble with it. This is just about that particular update. So I could, for instance, the current state of the computer is just go install that specific update and see if it brings the problem back. That would be a troubleshooting step that I would find reasonable to do. Ryan, good day. How's everybody today? That joke of the bear in the fridge, I heard that joke on All in the Family, but I still didn't get it. You would see,
unless it's optional updates or optional driver updates, will Microsoft still let you select individual updates to install? I thought if it was not an optional update, you had to take them all.
No, the way I would do that is I would leave the paused updates, and then I would go to the knowledge base article for the specific update and manually install it.
Oh, you get the standalone installer.
Yeah, right. Which isn't, the computer's not quite going through the same experience as an automated update install. Does that difference matter? I think that's remotely possible. And could it be a combination of updates that cause the trouble rather than just one update? Possible. But my first step will probably be just to install all of the pending updates and verify that the problem does return. Because I'm not convinced just by doing the image restore and then me intellectually saying, well, the difference is I don't have all those updates present. Well, with that image restore, the computer works perfectly. I have done this in the past where I go ahead and reinstall all the updates or redo whatever I think is the culprit and find that it still works perfectly. So I don't want to spend a lot of time tracking down updates as the culprit until I confirm updates are the culprit, and the way that I would do that is by installing all the updates that are currently.
Have you thought about, say for an example, if it's a cumulative update, you uninstall, like say, this month is March, so the March cumulative update, and the March cumulative update is the issue. Well, when you go back and reinstall it, reinstall an update, the only update is another month has gone by, so the next cumulative update is the April cumulative update. So therefore, they fixed the issue with the one update in April. You get
Absolutely, absolutely. So we went back to prior to the February cumulative update. So instead of installing the February cumulative update, well, we don't have a March cumulative update yet, do we?
I don't think so. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, but I could, for instance, not install the February cumulative update at all, particularly if I find that that is the culprit. Then I could just restore the image again, wait for the March cumulative update to come out or see if it's available in preview, and install that so that the February update is never installed, never gets reinstalled since the image restore. Yeah, that's a valid way to go. Where was I at? Dragon. Yeah, these. Joke of the fridge. Black Serendipity, not too bad. Brian and you. Let's see. Skipping a little bit. An informative stream as always, Doug. Thanks, Doug from Speedy C. Later. Yep, I think that comment from Tony Wallow is very appropriate at this point. It's ready to say goodbye. This stream has been 1 hour 57 minutes, keeping in mind that this is the second stream of today. And it's 13 minutes past my 2-hour mark. I think it's time to say goodbye. So in the Zoom session, I'll ask you to say goodbye to the audience for me.
Yes.
Goodbye, audience.
Good night, Mary Ellen.
Understandable.
Aljaž, can you
Yes.
stay in Zoom for a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, and then I'll come back here and show my email address if you'd like to send a question that you'd like me to respond to in a Windows Daily episode or on a Saturday episode. You can send to that email address. I hope this has been useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.